I love this movie.
I haven't seen
You
it.
haven't seen this movie?
Ba 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 da ba. Ba da da da. Ba 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 da ba. Ba da da ba. Ba da.
Hi guys! Here comes Rocket!
Here comes Rocket!
Come
Rocket,
on up!
Oh my goodness!
Now you're a part of it too.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Whoa, our
Whoa.
levels are insane.
Look at these levels. We probably shouldn't have screamed. This is going to require...
We're gonna.
We can edit this.
No, we can edit. We can edit that.
Oh, okay.
I don't want people to be like listening on the subway and be like, "Fuck!"
Or even like our neighbors being like, "Someone's being murdered."
Yes,
5F
our neighbors
right
are like,
now.
"What's happening over there?"
Hi,
everybody.
Welcome back, y'all. It's been a minute, as the kids say.
Yeah, it's been since December.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least. So
yeah, we were doing the Christmas vacation.
yes,
Blanton's Christmas vacation.
That's right. And then we did our own personal Christmas vacation.
Right.
Life got busy, as it does.
And now we're
moving
here.
and shaking, and we're back. Time is a circle. Here we are.
Because we have time on our hands.
We sure do.
Just like everybody
I don't know
else.
if you guys have been watching the news lately.
Yeah.
But we in New York have been pretty much grounded for the next month and a half. Andrew Cuomo and Bill de Blasio are our gay parents, and they have sent us to our rooms basically without supper,
right,
because hoarding is back.
It is.
So if you have toilet paper and paper towels, consider
Hold
yourself
on to
blessed.
it. My dad actually...
2 squares,
my
guys.
Dad sent...
Fold that and go.
My dad sent me a birthday card, and in the birthday card, he included some tissue paper, and he said, well, because hoarding's back.
It's back.
It's back,
Big
baby.
But,
it's back.
Wow, COVID-19, coronavirus, showing up
in
a big way
in
2020. This is global. So we are in our apartment.
Yes.
Giving you this live podcast.
We would have been in our apartment.
Regardless,
otherwise.
We're pretty much here 23 hours out of the day.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to be at work, I'd be in my
You'd
apartment.
probably be here. Right. Or at the gym, which now gyms are closed.
Yeah, gyms are closed as of 8 o'clock tonight. So we have literally 55 more minutes if we want to go get a workout in.
Right.
And that's it.
Schools
are closed. So we wanted to actively practice some social distancing.
Yes.
Not from so much each other, because that's hard when you're married. So here we are, giving you some social distancing podcasting live. Oh, okay. Let's just leave Rocket.
This is called social distancing.
He doesn't care.
He does not care for that
at all.
No, and to be fair, like the social distancing, I know it's important and all that jazz.
Yes.
Social distancing is important, but it's really fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is.
And it's really isolating. And I've had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm alone in that.
No.
But hey, that's okay. Luckily, we are in a time and age where we can do this kind of thing and live stream and be with other people and FaceTime and stuff.
And raise some awareness as well.
That's right. So I forgot to mention that we got excited because we're going live. Because it's live. We've never done this before.
Fuck up now.
So we are taking donations. If you would like to donate, any amount is fine, or not. You don't have to, but anything that you donate today to our Venmo account will be donated to the Global Giving Coronavirus Relief
It's
Fund.
Basically the Michael Scott, Dunder Mifflin, Scranton, Meredith Palmer Memorial Celebrity Rabies Awareness
Race for the Cure
Fund.
Pro-Am. Right.
That's essentially what we're doing. But long story short, donating to our Venmo, all of that money is going to go to both first responders, the people who are out there, boots on the ground, helping assist people who are coming down with the coronavirus, but also testing people who may have it. This is going to be a big strain, not only on our economy, but on our healthcare system.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will open some eyes to a little bit of income inequality as well as healthcare inequality in this country. Because I'm a firm believer in that civilizations need these sort of events to shake us collectively out of apathy, because we find ourselves in the same cycle over and over, which also has to do with our movie today, which I think is, and for those diehard Star Wars fans who were born after the millennium, I've got some notes. So we're going to talk about that.
Okay, so I watched it again and I found more parts that I liked. I still have issues with it, but I liked it more this time than I did the first time.
Some serious issues.
And then I got really mad.
There are glimpses of like, oh, this is fun. Oh, that's over.
At any rate.
Anyways.
Really quickly before we dig in, how are you doing today? Because we always do our check-in.
That's right. I'm well.
What's something going on? What's something you noticed? What's something interesting that happened to you because of all this Corona nonsense? Corona-sense.
I got a lot of. I was on the subway earlier and I was wearing my mask.
We do have masks so that we don't. If we have it, we don't give it to other people.
But I'm also Batman.
You are Batman. Right. You're wearing the shirt.
Right.
That's not very subtle.
And it has nothing to do with our movie today either.
No.
So I was getting a lot of looks because I was wearing my mask. People were giving me the New York chuff.
Right.
A lot of head shaking, a lot of sizing me up.
Yeah.
And a lot of me just being like.
But no one can see that, so they just saw this.
They just see my.
They didn't see anything. Ben's smiling, and it just looks like this.
I'm also flipping them off with my hand in my pocket, which they also can't see.
Right. See, that's the key for getting out into public and saying and doing whatever you want is just cover anything that you don't want people to see.
Essentially, yeah. Like I could have gone full regalia and done like the sunglasses and like put my hood up and all this kind of stuff. But there was also a girl on the train who had gloves on and she was like trying not to touch anyone or anything. But I think she was wearing gloves.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. You're already wearing gloves.
But she, even with the gloves on, they were like the food lady gloves. They were like the clear billowy plastic ones.
Yes.
And she was trying not to touch anyone or anything. And I think she spilled all of her Purell in her purse. So she's flipping out, and then she's like reaching across to the guy across from her for some Purell. She's like, "Sir, do you have any hand sanitizer?" And I'm like, "Bitch, you are wearing gloves. Like, why do you need hand sanitizer on your gloves?" So it's a little nuts out there.
What the fuck is happening?
I believe that people are.
Oh my god!
I believe that people are doing what they need to do for themselves, but you also get to see kind of people's true colors when situations like this arise. And I hope that we can all keep in mind that we have a choice and an opportunity to do some good, to be light, to be of help as best we can without putting ourselves at risk.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't really see a whole lot. A lot happened in my train car, but the streets are pretty empty.
Yeah, they're pretty quiet. I went out for a walk. It was very nice, actually.
Yeah.
But it's like as you're walking towards people, like they're coming from this way, and you'll be like this, and as you get closer to each other, it's like
they do this.
Yeah, it's like the cooties from middle school.
And there's no handshaking.
There's a lot of that nonsense.
I elbow bumped a few people today.
I got the cooler one though. The cool one. That's not like elbow bump. That's like we're gonna touch our weenus together. It's not that. It's not the weenus kiss. Oh. It's the forearm.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and I'm like, and if you do it this way too, like up like that, yeah.
I like that.
Like,
that might hurt though.
I got that. Yeah.
That would hurt my bone.
Your bone. Yeah. You have sensitive bones.
So yeah, there's a lot going on out there. Of course, life and work schedules have changed. But we are very blessed to have everything we need, thankfully, including each other.
Yep. And our dog.
So we're going to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
We're getting the fuck out of
Dodge.
Out of
crazy. So thanks, Aunt Elizabeth, in advance. But yeah, I feel like again you see people's true colors and true nature in these situations, and hopefully again we can all be aware of how we react because we have a choice of how to react.
And my thing too, and I didn't realize how intense this was until a little bit later.
Excuse me, I'm gonna crack.
Oh yes, that's right. We don't have. We should get the booty.
The pirate's booty.
Booty. That was a favorite moment for some people.
The booty crunch.
Yeah. Literally, I have.
It was one of my favorite moments. Really?
Yeah. Like, oh fuck, eating the pirate's booty. At any rate, needless to say, I think that we should say because yeah. So we haven't set our Venmo handle yet.
That's true. If you want to donate.
What do you have a Venmo handle?
Do I have a Venmo handle?
You should have it. You have Venmo.
Donate to Farmer646.
There we go.
On Venmo.
And what we will do too is we're going to screenshot. Why don't you actually screenshot right now what your balance is?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a timestamp on it, so that way people know that anything that's given, any donations that come in after this moment until the end of our podcast will be donated to the Global Giving Coronavirus Relief Fund.
I have $3.
Ben has $3. So we're donating those $3 as well.
I think this is actually my $3.
You just put Venmo.
But I'll donate it.
Okay.
I'll put my money where my mouth is. These $3 are going to flu
Which
shots.
Otherwise would have gone to a cup of coffee and a tip.
That's right.
Is going towards the Global Giving.
I don't know if you can really zoom in on that, but $3. There's my new headshot.
There's your headshot.
Anyway, yes. So
So
at Farmer646 if you'd like to donate.
Yes,
Thank you.
but so we are trying to help out in any way we can. This is one way we can help. One way you can help. So if you donate, we'll give you a shout out as well. And
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm not great.
I feel like we're all okay.
I'm okay. We're hanging in there. I have some issues.
Hey, thanks, Evan.
Hey, Evan!
This is happening in real time. Evan Tate. Thank you so
Evan
much.
Tate.
Wow, what a
Hi,
champion.
Evan was the one that left us the voicemail.
Oh,
the really
Evan.
sweet voicemail.
Yeah,
and he said that he really loved it when we say Jesus wept. He loves that.
Well, Jesus wept. Thank you, Evan. That was very kind. Thank you so much.
No, I've been okay. Like my thing is that, and we've talked about this because I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm all about mental wellness. It's not like I talk about it on our podcast all the time. For me, it's been very hard knowing that we're in an okay position, like we're doing okay, and knowing of friends that are in a really bad position.
Yeah.
And that's been really hard and weighing on me, being like, I don't know what I can do to help.
Yeah.
So knowing that we don't know what the rest of the, foreseeable future is going to look like, what we can hold on to is each other and what we can do to support one another, things like this, a dollar here, a dollar there can make a difference. So I'm holding on to that and also taking care of myself. I think self-care is really important. And again, it's more than bubble baths and lattes because you can't get bubble baths.
You can't even sit down and have a latte right now.
You can't sit down and have a latte. You can't have a bubble bath.
You can't have a bubble bath.
You can't have a bubble bath.
Yes.
What message redacted? Oh, Trish. Oh, hi, Trish.
Hi, Trish.
Yeah. So
doing okay.
We're doing okay, but it's hard, and I think it's okay to acknowledge that it's hard. Journal helps so much. Sometimes too, if you write stuff down that you're like really upset about and tear it up.
That's not a soft J.
Throw it away.
It's not
urinal.
It's not urinal.
That's where you go to pee.
That's where you go to the bathroom. For guys, that's where you go to the bathroom.
Or people that identify and have parts that would be useful.
If you identify.
I actually got my mom a cheetah.
Thanks, Stafford.
Thanks, Stafford.
They're amazing.
Stafford, we may need to get Stafford on the line because he fucking loves this movie.
I'm about to kill your harsher vibe. As the kids say.
I don't think the kids say that anymore. No, I don't think so.
All right. The cut of this movie's jib is not gelling with me. It ain't gelling. It ain't Magellan.
It's not. That's for foot inserts.
Yeah, journal though.
Footed journal. Because that's gonna help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of
how do we bridge this?
Journaling. Speaking of using sacred text to get you through difficult times.
You mean the sacred Jedi texts?
We watched Rise of Skywalker!
Which is the end, I guess, to the Skywalker saga of the Star Wars films.
Right.
So I should also give a shout out and thanks to Stafford for
allowing
giving us
us
the means to watch this movie because Disney, in an act of brilliance, and either an act of brilliance or financial manipulation, decided to release Rise of Skywalker for streaming early, but if you paid, money to see it.
Right.
So thank you, Stafford, for allowing us to.
Did anybody hear that?
Did anyone hear Rocket?
Rocket just snored.
So the plot breakdown per IMDb for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Short and sweet. The surviving members of the Resistance face the First Order once again. Shock. And the legendary conflict between the Jedi and the Sith reaches its peak, bringing this... it's hard to even say this. Bringing the Skywalker saga to its end.
I feel like this is a really long one on IMDb.
The Skywalker saga actually came to an end during The Last Jedi because
Is there a better one?
Luke overexerted himself in the Force so much that he disintegrated.
Where's another one?
There's only two on there. Do you want to read the second?
Oh, the second one is even longer.
Yeah. So.
Who
paid us?
Jacob.
Hey, thanks, Jacob.
Thanks, Jacob.
Wow.
Yay!
Amazing, you
We
guys
love
and your generosity.
Wow.
Wow.
Yay! Okay, so
Do you
the
wanna read the
other
second one?
summary.
It's long,
Okay,
just like this movie.
I tell you what. Do it. You need to read it, but as Palpatine. Read the long one as Palpatine. Okay, so this is, for anybody that's just tuning in.
This is an internet first.
we're
I'm going to debut my Ian McDermott as Emperor Palpatine.
We're doing the IMDb breakdown, this plot summary of Rise of Skywalker. Ben Farmer as Palpatine. And action.
While the First Order continues to ravage the galaxy, Rey finds her training as a Jedi. But danger suddenly rises from the ashes as the evil Emperor Palpatine mysteriously returns from the dead. While working with Finn and Poe Dameron to fulfill a new mission, Rey will not only face Kylo Ren once more, but she will also discover the truth about her parents, as well as a deadly secret that could determine her future and the fate of the ultimate final showdown.
Your face is so red.
To come.
Jesus wept.
I will say, thank you so much. I will say that Ian McDermott milks this cow for all it's worth. And as someone who loves both Shakespeare and heroic acting and Ian McDermott, yes, big fan.
Sure.
His voice and speech, his diction, his dialect, his enunciation is like, I would eat it like a sandwich.
Yeah.
It makes my actor heart very happy.
Okay.
So that's one of the credits I'll give this movie. That's the plot of The Rise of Skywalker.
So a lot of people have seen it. I know people that probably haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But
if you haven't seen it at this point, I'm guessing you just don't want to see it.
I mean, it's like all the rest of Star Wars. You're just not going to see it. So
spoilers ahead, because we're going to be trudging through the plot based on the notes that we were taking in real time while watching this movie. So should we begin?
Let's just start out. Shall we begin? All right. So here's the thing. Just a disclaimer. We have we're 80s babies that are pretty intense about the classic version.
These were some of the first movies I remember watching.
Right.
At home.
Right. Like VHS.
Yeah. Older brother had the action figures because he was born in 76.
So we kind of have a hard time going with anything Jar Jar Binks post. Like anything after Jar Jar Binks, I think we just naturally have a hard time with, and I want to just...
You called him Jar Jar.
Jar Jar?
Instead of Jar Jar.
Yaga Binks.
Lady Jar Jar.
Lady Yaga. Yaga Binks. Yes,
That
Binks.
is a soft J, apparently. So
anything past that we have a hard time with. And that's just like... So
that's also saying that a lot of the millennial audience who may or may not be watching this grew up.
I know people our age that loved this movie.
Okay, great.
Loved it.
I don't know why, but we'll get into that.
Dallas loved it.
Gladiator. So we'll talk about what we thought. My arguments for why this is a dumpster fire of a movie. But a lot of you grew up with the prequels being your first Star Wars movies. So
that's a whole other
I apologize because those prequels, Anakin's whole journey, Luke's whole journey, that's about to be completely unwritten.
I think
it's like it never even happened. Bring balance to the Force.
It's fine.
Who cares, right?
At any rate,
here we are.
That's where we're at.
So let's get into our notes.
But we really I tried to be more open-minded this time. So okay.
I should also say, the way this podcast began was how furious I was over The Last Jedi. So
both
maybe you should, both of us. I would suggest maybe going back and listening to that episode as well.
God, that was our very
because
first
I'm actually
episode.
going to be complimenting The Last Jedi on a few occasions,
Yeah.
which is difficult for me. But looking at this movie and looking at The Last Jedi, I'm like, no, there were some pros in The Last Jedi.
So we start the movie out.
The dead speak. We get some caps.
Which is intense. It wasn't in all caps.
Oh, the dead speak
It was just, no, it wasn't.
I'm pretty sure
it was just
I'm
an
gonna go back and check
exclamation
that.
point.
The dead speak.
Which I was like, that scroll test, I want to see like an optometrist have that as what people use to check their eyesight. Can you read all the way up to the very top when they started out? And what does it say up here about the Empire?
Start here.
So we got introduced to fucking Kylo Ren cutting down mushroom people left and right in a forest.
He's in the Mushroom Kingdom.
He's in the Mushroom
clearly
Kingdom.
trying to save his princess,
Killing
who's
people.
Clearly in another castle.
Right.
He's murdering, and we're led to believe that we're on Mustafar,
Which I don't remember
which is
who
what.
that
Okay,
is.
so
that's Mustafa.
that's where the Mustafa. From
Mustafa.
what?
I don't know. I think Mufasa, and I went to Mustafa, and I was like,
okay.
I don't know. It's a reach.
So Mustafar, as you probably all know, is the planet where Obi-Wan and Anakin had their final battle. It's where Anakin got set on fire and dislimbed, except for his left arm, I think.
I don't know.
And he was left to crisp and die on the shore of the lava planet. Long story short, it's where Darth Vader's castle is now. If you go and watch Rogue One,
right,
it's where Ben Mendelsohn goes to visit Darth Vader. I don't know why Vader would build his castle on Mustafar, because you think that would be like a little post-traumatic stress for him. You're like, oh, this is the place where I got burned alive.
Maybe it's like a defining moment. Maybe it's like, this is what made me who I am, and I need to like stay here, and this is who I am now.
Yeah, I'm just
trying to play devil's advocate.
I can't lava without it.
For a person that's not a dad, you make a lot of dad jokes. That makes you a faux pas. You're like that. I heard that joke today. I was very proud of that.
So he's on Mustafar, and he's
going to get.
He's looking for a MacGuffin. He's looking for the Google Maps of the Sith Lord, essentially.
We called it Sithy instead of Siri.
So he slices his way through the mushroom people. He opens up this weird little altar, and he finds the MacGuffin. Now, the MacGuffin, for those of you who are not familiar with what a MacGuffin is,
I don't know what MacGuffin is.
It is a plot device that seems important at the beginning of a movie, but in the end has completely no bearing on the movie whatsoever, which we'll also get into, because there's not only one MacGuffin in this movie, there are three. There are three MacGuffins. There's two Wayfinders for the Sith, and then there's the magic dagger.
Right.
The magic I can't wait to talk about the magic dagger.
At any rate.
So he finds the Horcrux, the whatever, the thing that is going to take him to the Emperor, because Kylo Ren is now going to extinguish the Emperor because he wants to be all powerful on the dark side of the Force.
Yeah.
He literally plugs it into his TIE fighter. There are 4 different USBs pronged into this thing, and it's telling him to like make lefts and rights and go 3.2 miles.
So funny. No, oh my God, it would be giving directions, but as the Sith Lord.
Turn right.
No, as the Sith.
As Palpatine?
Yeah, as Palpatine.
Like, in 500 feet, turn left. You've gone too far. Do it. Make a U-turn. You went the wrong way.
Do it now.
Unworthy.
Jesus Christ. So now he's flying through the anus of the galaxy through all of this red stuff.
And he goes to the Palpatine planet.
Which is Exegol?
I don't know.
Which is Hexagon. He lands on Hexagon, pulls out his janky lightsaber, takes the elevator down with no elevator music, unfortunately.
That would be so... Oh, can we just put stuff over...
I can't wait to get to the bottom.
I really like what they've done with the place.
Because I want to be all powerful. Because I hate my dad.
That's actually a pretty good Adam Driver. That's okay. That's not bad.
I love you, Adam Driver.
That's not bad.
Your work in this movie is very. It has conviction. So
then I don't think Adam Driver is watching this.
Adam, if you're watching this, and I know you are, we love you.
I don't think Adam
Marriage
Driver
Story
is watching this.
was a game changer.
So at any rate,
anyway, he's taking the elevator down to menswear, and he starts hearing Palpatine's voice.
Right.
And he's like, "At last, you've come to me."
So now, okay, here's the thing.
Okay, let's press pause.
I got confused with. So this is the thing is that we got to the Sith. We got introduced to the Sith iPhone and the Sith planet in the first 5 minutes, and then it's like you need to go find the fucking Jedi girl, and you need to kill her.
Whoa.
Is that what happens?
Yeah, but we're missing a lot.
Okay, but we can't. Here's the thing, babe. We're already 25 minutes in.
I know, but these things are important. And I want to reference these things because this is not screenwriting 101.
Do you realize
this
how
is
much
writing
we
yourself
have to
into a
get through?
corner.
There's so much that we have to get through.
I have to reference the Snokes in a jar.
I am going to give you 30 seconds.
He gets down to the level where the Emperor's at. The Emperor is apparently not dead because the dead speak. He says, excuse me, I've actually been the voice in your head this entire time. I've been the puppet master pulling the strings. I made Snoke. Here's a jar full of Snokes that I created. Also, when I blew up with the Death Star, I survived because here I am. And you need to go find Rey and bring her to me. Is that what he says?
I think so.
Which is essentially what happened in The Force Awakens when Snoke says, "Bring Rey to me."
And then we cut
here we are,
to
full circle.
Rey on Then we cut to Rey on the planet. She's on
The Resistance planet.
No, we still have the dogfight with Poe.
I don't remember that.
There was a dogfight. There was a Poe and there was a Poe. There was Poe and Chewie. They were in Millennium Falcon, and then they were going somewhere. There was a dogfight. I don't remember, and they kept on jumping light speed over and over and over and over again.
You can also jump light speed because plot.
Because plot.
Because movie
Jedi
needs to happen.
The
sacred Jedi text.
So then I have to say though, and this is something that I love.
Yes.
Is for majority of Star Wars movies, I can't think of a Star Wars movie where I did not love the dogfights. Okay. The fighting and stuff like that.
Yeah, the effects are great.
Amazing.
The effects are great.
And two, not just
Thanks,
that,
Disney.
but like the idea of like the different ways to make things interesting. Not just firing at people, not just like, but like shooting the thing so it fell down.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, great idea.
Yeah, the
Super
effects, I'll say the lightsaber fights were really great.
So fun.
There's a lot going on between the characters outside of just fighting.
Right.
So
which was great.
The effects are good. That's also one good point.
And then we went to Rey, who's on a.
I don't know what planet it is.
Planet?
It's the Resistance. It's the planet that the Resistance is on, and Leia is essentially training her in the ways of the Force, which is great. But how do we find Rey? Hovering in midair like Buddha, being surrounded by
Be with me
DNA rocks that are moving in a quarter circle.
Be with that. That made me think of. When I was,
it looks like Mr. DNA from Jurassic Park.
No, it made me think of the song I used to have to sing in church in high school. It's like, lead me, Lord, by the light.
It's essentially what she's doing.
Truth.
She's praying.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't remember where it was introduced.
It's literally 2 lines later.
No, it could have been introduced. I'm talking about something else, about when she flies.
Oh. Rey can do anything.
I don't know when flying came in. If somebody could tell us,
big jumps.
Big jumps, absolutely.
Flying is different, though.
Flying, I'm not sure when
She's
that
hovering
happened.
in midair.
Because I feel like that might have come in and actually hinted at in some of the originals.
Was it in the sacred Jedi texts?
The Force.
Because the Force.
I'm not sure. If anyone knows when flying came in, I would love to know, because that's something that bothers me.
And also, please don't reference some obscure Jedi book, because before The Last Jedi, we didn't have books here. We didn't have books in Star Wars. In 3? In Revenge of the Sith?
Jedi?
In Revenge of the Sith?
Revenge of the Sith?
Okay. So I'm not saying they can't jump high, but hovering is weird. Hovering in midair is weird. You can do force jumps. You can jump great distances.
Yeah, it was
you can also do force speed when you need to get yourself out of a plot hole, like in episode 1. But one of the big negatives of this movie is that the Force becomes a grab bag of whatever power you need to get yourself out of a situation. Rey turns into Jesus come off the cross because she can make lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Here's the thing.
Was this all in the sacred Jedi text?
That's the thing, is that I would have bought it if they had said, like, if she had referenced, like, or if someone had been like, oh my God, I can't believe you do all this stuff. And she's like, I spent the last year studying the text. Like, it's something you have to, if there had been some kind of explanation for why all of a sudden she could do all these things, I would have bought it. Absolutely, I would have bought it.
You guys remember The Empire Strikes Back?
Oh my
where
God.
Yoda was like, the Force is something that surrounds us and binds us all. We are luminous beings. We're not crude matter. When the Force was actually something really simple and sort of kind of out there, undefined, but now we have to define it by healing belly wounds. And
that's my boob.
I would never touch your breast without
on live television.
Not on live.
This is live television,
right,
apparently.
Not right now, anyway.
If you're just joining us, where are we?
Oh, we got completely off notes. So he hooked up the GPS. We went to the Dr. Frankenstein lab.
We're now at Rey, and now we're figuring out Rey. They came back because what happened?
So they were looking for the spy, right?
They were looking for the spy, and they found the spy.
They kind of found the spy, and hyperdrive skipping because plot has to happen. And then we are introduced to Rey, who's training with Princess Leia. I'm glad that they used Carrie Fisher's old footage for this movie.
I had a really hard time with it.
But I had a hard time with it because it was clearly dialogue written around what they'd already filmed when she was alive.
Yeah.
And I miss her so much, and I wish that she were there.
It was just hard to watch.
It was.
It was like, I was happy to see her, but I'm like, ugh.
It was hard to watch in the sense that, again, the dialogue was clearly written around what they had filmed.
Right.
And so they had to fill in those gaps.
Right.
So the dialogue between Princess Leia and other characters was just a little jilted.
Yeah.
I don't see how you could have done the movie without Leia training Rey, because
I don't know.
Up to this point, Rey has earned nothing and just gets everything for free.
No, let's not go that far.
Yes.
Let's not go that far.
She hasn't earned
She worked really hard on that dumpster planet.
Scavenging, yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Jedi training.
She's been meditating and levitating with
hovering
rocks.
in the air with rocks.
She's been doing
Remember
work.
the end of The Last Jedi where she moved like thousands of rocks?
So that's the thing is that she is training. She's going through this training thing. And then while she's in the middle of it, all of a sudden, Kylo Ren somehow or another interrupts her thought process.
They can share. Well, this happens later. This happens a little bit later.
But he gets in touch with her and she gets mad and then she cuts a bunch of trees down. Anyways, Poe comes back.
Yes.
And
the
they're
Falcon's
like,
all
we
fucked
found
up.
some stuff.
Yeah.
We know
where the spy is or something.
Where the spy is.
And then she's like, and she's flipping through the sacred Jedi texts and she sees one of the Horcruxes and she's like, ooh, convenient. We need this.
This is going to help us.
And it has a MacGuffin page. So thankfully she turned to that page. Also, Kelly Marie Tran, I'm so sorry that Disney wrote you out of this movie.
Oh, Rose?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
The fan backlash from The Last Jedi was
I thought she was
uncalled
lovely.
for.
I thought
to write you out of this movie, except to do service to fanboys who were mad on the internet.
I thought she did a great job.
I apologize for that. I feel like I should apologize on behalf of Disney and for people who want to sell as many tickets as possible.
She and Adam Driver are watching this while they share popcorn and practice social distancing.
Big fans. So,
Okay,
so the sacred Jedi texts say to go to the desert.
Right, and they go there and they go to Burning Man.
They find Burning Man.
They go find
Which
Burning
only
Man
happens
planet.
every 42 years. And guess when the first Star Wars movie came out, guys? 42 years before the Rise of Skywalker.
I actually kind of loved that. I didn't know that. I loved it. I'm like, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's a little tip of the hat. I loved it. I'm great with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. And then
look, it's Lando.
I literally wrote
Hey, Chewbacca. You get fucking Billy D. They stood up old Billy D. Williams. They leaned him against something.
The whole time
he's in this movie.
He looks like he's walking into a room where he thinks there's going to be sandwiches.
I sincerely believe that he's 83 years old.
He honestly always walks into a room and he looks like he's happy to be there because he's about to get a turkey sandwich. Right. He just walks in. He's like, Where are the sandwiches?
Is it crafty in here?
I'm gonna need a Coca-Cola.
Hey, we need you back on set, Billy.
And I got sun chips.
No, there might be some sun chips in there, but we really need you back on set.
Back on set. What movie are we doing?
We're doing The Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skies. All right.
Rise of Skywalker.
Skywalker.
Okay, that's
all
good
right.
enough.
Okay.
To set.
Where's that filly, Carrie Fisher?
She passed away, Billy.
She dead?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
all right. Well, you got it. What time is it? Is that clock right? I gotta get out of here.
I gotta
hard out.
Jesus Christ.
So he shows up and he tells them where, like,
he says that me and Luke were looking.
Oh, that's right.
For
this is at this point when he's talking about we found this Jedi hunter and
okay,
we went.
So no.
Trying to find him.
Yes and no. So Lando and Luke were looking for the Horcrux so that they could go to the Sith planet and destroy Palpatine.
There's so much.
But they didn't find it, I guess. They hit some dead ends, and this is when Luke Skywalker decided to give up on life, I think, and maybe start training his nephew. I don't know. But long story short, I think they were looking for the Horcrux to destroy Lord Voldemort, and they didn't find it. And so Lando says, "Yeah, continue on. I'm gonna help you get wings." And then we're introduced to another shared space and time continuum where Kylo appears to Rey, and now it's dark all of a sudden.
Right.
And she's wearing the necklace.
Wait.
And he snatches the necklace off of her.
No.
Because we can share space and time now because of the Force. Can someone help me?
Okay. Practical.
Oh, okay.
I am. If you want to get me on the side of your movie,
all hot and bothered. For movies.
I'm sorry. That makes me sound like I get turned on by Sesame Street.
You might get a little turned on by practical effects.
I don't. Well,
in an artistic way.
It's
dignified.
It's an artistic ladywood for.
It's Hensonwood, is what it is.
Effective visual work.
It's Creature Workshop.
It's Creature Workshop. Anytime that's in a movie, you are going to win at least one vote from me. I fucking love practical. And like the little puppets that they had. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So great.
I really appreciated the artistry and the craftsmanship that goes into that kind of stuff. And I know that they used a lot of it as possible. So that's another shout out I'll give to this.
Yeah, I loved that. And I thought that was something that they actually listened to from fanboys. That was like, bring that back. That's important for what we remember.
Because you can like see it and almost like,
you're
like, oh, someone really put some work in it.
Exactly. You're like, that took time. It was made by hand. Well, maybe not by hand anymore, but it was, there were hands around it.
Right.
And it wasn't on a computer.
Right.
So then we go back
Now we're back into the problems with this movie. Right back into it.
No, and again, this was me really trying hard to be open-minded this time around. Again, I don't mind that they shared space and time and that they could grab stuff from one another.
I need my phone. I need my phone.
I'm sorry, did I ruin anything?
No, it's fine.
That they could
Just
grab
don't take
stuff.
My phone away.
Well, if we share space and time.
I cannot be with my phone.
If we share space and time, did you clean your phone?
Yes.
Because Corona.
Yep.
If I put a Corona beer on your phone, would you touch it?
I'd have to throw it away.
You'd have to throw away the entire phone.
That's just logic.
What was I saying?
Space and time.
Space and time. I would be fine with it if that had been introduced earlier. Or if there had been an instance where she learned how to do it.
Yeah.
Picked it up, like in The Last Jedi.
These things are important, guys.
If it had been introduced versus just being like, like.
I bet it was in the sacred Jedi texts. So it's fine.
It's something where I would have been okay with it if we had been introduced to it earlier.
Or maybe if Luke taught her anything.
Or something.
Something.
I just feel like there was so much that was just thrust upon us in this. Yeah. Where if there had been some explanation, I totally would have been on board.
She can do so much with the Force, but when Luke used the Force too much, he disintegrated in the last movie.
Well, I can't remember what he did.
He evaporated. No, he did like temporal placement. Like he placed his consciousness on the battlefield with Kylo Ren.
Oh, yeah.
And he was basically fighting a hologram.
Right. And then he disappeared.
And then he just dies.
Okay, wait a minute.
One with the Force.
Oh, so that answers another thing later on when he catches the lightsaber.
Because Force ghosts can catch physical objects now.
But then if he was fighting in the desert earlier, if he was fighting Kylo Ren.
I guess. And Obi-Wan Kenobi sat on something in Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
So that whole scene was just a
Okay.
big middle finger to Ryan Johnson.
I don't know. I feel like
I'll give him that.
we can give
Okay,
that.
Great.
Okay, so then what?
So they're looking. Okay, so Kylo grabs the necklace off of her. They can share space and time.
So he figures out where she is
because the Force. He figures out where she is, so he is on his way.
Right.
And then they're spotted by stormtroopers, and they got to get the hell out of Dodge. And they find a little like janky, what used to be some sort of pod racer.
Which on the way there, I love the launching of the.
Oh, on the little.
Where they're flying,
the motorcycles.
Yeah, I love the comment
that.
on it too. It's like they fly now.
I didn't mind
they
that.
Fly now.
That was fun. That was a fun little moment. I don't understand why the stormtroopers had these little desert motorcycles on it, but we're getting comments.
Yeah, no. I can't remember what Jacob said something about Very Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't remember. Didn't one of them get wet because of a rainstorm, and the other one?
Yeah, again in The Last Jedi, this happened too, where they were like reaching out to each other. And it was raining on the island. But again, like when and how and when and why and how did they learn to do this? And why?
Okay.
Why now? Why is this just being thrust upon us?
I don't know.
You know, these things are important, guys.
Okay. So
anyways, so they're being chased through the desert, and as they're being chased, Lord in heaven, thank the Lord we were at this place and time, because they pass by a ship that's just sitting on a cliff that apparently Luke and Lando didn't see. They're just like, oh, I don't see that big ship on this cliff over here. And they're passing by it and they're like, wow, that's good luck. And then they are blown out of the sky by these stormtroopers. Then they land in this little quicksand thing, which is also very lucky of them.
Also, can I just say that Looney Tunes played up that we would have to deal with quicksand a whole lot more in our adult lives, and it never comes up.
Warner Brothers for a lot of things.
I was like, that was refreshing. I feel like I finally, we were told to prepare for that. Here's an instance.
And as they're sinking in this quicksand, we don't know what the fate of our heroes is going to be. And Finn starts telling Rey,
oh my God.
Finn's like,
no.
Rey, I never told you something that I need to tell you right now. And she's like, what is it, Finn?
No.
And then they both, everyone lands underground safely. And I think later on she's like, oh, what did you want to ask me? He's like, oh,
that is my biggest
That's
issue
not the first time this
this
happens in this movie, guys. We're going to get to those.
That is the biggest thing with this movie, is that you never actually hear what he was going to say.
You're left to assume what he was going to say.
There are so many instances of that
because
in
this movie had to build 6 different plots to continue.
But they're done with this one, so there wasn't going to be anything else.
No, they're not done with Star Wars.
No, I know they're not done with Star Wars, but they're not going to bring back Rey. They're not going to bring back Finn.
If they want to pay him enough.
Finn said that he's not going to do it.
Yeah. We'll see.
Did you?
I was so upset at his birds. We'll see. When they cut him a $50 million check, we'll see.
All right.
But anyway, we'll get into what Finn was, I guess, going to tell Rey. So they're underground and they're like, okay, so Darth Uchi's ship is up there and he must be down here because I sense things. And so they start looking through these caverns and they find MacGuffin number 2, which is a knife that has Sith writing on it, which gives the location of the Sith planet. 3PO, who's with them, can technically transcribe it. Is that the word I want?
He can translate it.
He can translate what's on the knife, but his programming is forbidden to do so. Whoa, what's happening?
I just wanted to move this a little closer so we can see comments here.
So his programming won't good job. His programming won't let him interpret what's on the dagger. So now they have to go find someone who can interpret it for them. But not before they're almost eaten by a giant caterpillar.
No, he's a snake.
Who has been suffering from some sort of blaster wound. Rey, before they're eaten, Rey reaches out her hand like Jesus of Nazareth.
All right.
And heals the worm.
All right.
And when BB-8's like, hey, what did you do? She's like, oh, I just transferred part of my force energy into him.
All right.
Now my hand feels all weird.
All right.
Where did she learn to do that? The sacred Jedi texts? The stuff is important, guys.
So Stafford brought something up. No, Gabe brought something up.
Okay.
About-
My brother.
Yes,
brought
Ben's
something
twin
up.
brother brought
Yes,
something
have
up.
at it, Gabe. Hit me.
What was the thing about the healing? Something about, I remember it was in. There was one movie that he was talking about where there was like,
Because if the Jedi knew how to do this, why didn't Luke heal his father? Why didn't Anakin heal Padme? What the fuck is going on right now?
There was something about, I can't remember what it was. It's going to drive me insane.
What is happening?
I don't remember.
Because the Force is now a party bag of Chex Mix that you can just reach in and grab one of 6 things that you need to get yourself out of shitty writing. That's what happens.
Mary Poppins purse.
So they get out of this place. They now have a knife, and now Poe knows someone who can potentially translate it.
Mm-hmm.
So now they have to, Ray, I never told you, MacGuffin number 2.
No. They have somebody who can translate it, but they have to like pull it out of his brain.
Oh, right. But so they have to take
C-3PO.
They have to take C-3PO to this person who can pull the memory out of his
Babu
heart.
Frick.
Babu Frick.
Babu Frick. Which
Barbara
that
Ann.
sounds like
Yes.
sounds
like a toy that you can sell.
No, that sounds like a shawarma sandwich or something.
I'll have the
Could I get the tabbouleh and the Babu Frick?
no, please.
It's video.
This video.
No.
I'll have the Babu Frick. So
I fucking
now
love Babu Frick, and I'm curious
He's
if
goofy.
anyone thought if Babu Frick was CG or practical.
I think he's practical.
I couldn't tell. I wasn't sure.
That's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think that was a good
They
thing.
had porgs in the last movie, so now they needed a toy to sell. So here's Babu Frick.
Although, how many people are
Here you go,
buying
kids.
Babu Fricks?
I'm sure all the teens were like, "Oh, look how cute Babu Frick is."
I would no. That's what they're doing for Baby Yoda.
Oh,
Baby
which was after the
Yoda
fact.
is the next.
I haven't watched The Mandalorian. I've heard it's great. I've
Yeah.
heard I could skip a lot of the middle, but I've heard it nothing but good things. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll do one on The Mandalorian.
Anyways,
So Kylo Ren and the First Order are in hot pursuit, and they finally find where they are.
right?
Kylo is like
this
jetting
the
towards
horse
Rey.
planet?
No.
No.
He's jetting towards Rey in his TIE fighter. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to be right back. I have to go deal with Kylo Ren." And they're like, "Dude, we got to go because the First Order's coming. We have to hotwire Darth Uchi's ship and get the fuck out of here."
Right.
So they're doing that, and Finn tells Chewie to go tell Rey, "Hey, go get Rey. We have to go." Chewie gets captured by the First
Oh
Order,
fuck, we're still back there.
put on a transport car, and as okay, I should say Rey cuts Kylo Ren's TIE fighter out of the sky with her lightsaber, which I didn't hate. I was like, "Oh, that's it." That she did like this force jump flip cut on the TIE
I
fighter.
thought that was fine.
The fact that he survived that crash, though, when he's jostling around like
No,
the
he
amazing
walked out. And
pinball
he's
wizard.
just like,
he's like, "Oh, that was annoying. That crash should have killed me, but it didn't. I know who you are, Ray. You cannot ignore me. Come here.
wait, do Adam Driver as a disappointing waiter.
Good evening. My name is Kylo, and I will be taking your order tonight. Technically, I cannot allow you in this restaurant because 10 or more people cannot be together in one room.
I'm sorry. I'm standing 6 feet away from you, but I'm taking your order from here. I'm sorry it's hard to hear me, but I'm a soft-spoken man, and I'm not changing for coronavirus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I give you our specials?
He should have died in the
He should have
crash.
died, but he's walking out like, wow, that fucking. That was
What are the
unexpected.
specials?
What are the specials? So he walks out of the wreckage, and then Finn's like, "Ray, they got Chewie. Stop him!" And she reaches out and grabs the transport, and then Kylo starts pulling in the opposite direction. It's a really good
It
scene.
was great.
It like
It was a
Chewbacca's on
great
there. Is she
scene.
gonna get him? I don't know. And then she releases
explodes
lightning,
it.
and it blows up, and you're like, "Oh my god!"
I did
she
that in the
killed
theater. I
Chewie.
did that. I went,
I did
no!
it too. I'm like, "Shoot, she killed Chewbacca."
Right.
I'm like, what a great, poignant, dramatic,
I know.
guilt-ridden moment for our lead.
Oh,
But it's okay, because in less than 120 seconds, they unwrite that moment.
because it was a different transport.
They unwrite
Okay.
Chewbacca's death.
Yeah.
When that would have been such a powerful, poignant moment for her to deal with, "Oh my God, I killed
I'm
my friend
capable
because
of
I lost
horrible
control."
I am
and you
capable
get a
of
glimpse
evil.
into what Rey is capable of.
Yep.
Is she going to choose the light side or the dark? But
Yep.
we'll get into that later.
Yep.
So we're led to believe for about a minute and a half that Chewbacca is dead, but he shows up on the.
As awful as this sounds, I would rather have him dead.
I wanted him to die as well. Not to say I wanted Chewie dead, but
No.
like I would have been okay.
Let's commit
if
to
that
the
was
choice.
a powerful, dramatic moment.
Let's
the
commit
writers
to
were
the
like, "Hey,
choice.
we're going to kill Chewie."
Yeah, I totally
to
agree.
complicate our main character. That would have been amazing.
Okay, so then they
go to 1930s Poland planet.
Right. They go to
the Gestapo are going door to door asking for your papers. Because I don't know if J.J. Abrams has a hard-on for World War II.
I don't know what that was.
Know.
Like, why were they checking?
I don't mind it. It's just, and this is another thing that lacks in Star Wars is that it's not very diverse as far as the vistas and the planets. But I give them credit for wanting to do something different. The First Order is going around door to door asking for. They're looking for something.
Don't tell the Nazis.
Don't
tell the Germans.
Don't tell the Nazis. I'm going to turn the back.
I don't know. I'm not sure what was happening there.
So Rey and her crew are now there to get 3PO to this droid guy who can pull the memory out of 3PO's head and make him translate what's on the dagger.
That's where we are. Okay.
They take him to Babu Frick, but not before they meet an old flame of Poe who happens to be a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Because J.J. Abrams has worked with Kerry Russell on a few different projects and says, "Hey, do you want to be in this movie? We're not going to see your face."
No.
Oh, I was like, "Oh, what dinosaur do you think this Power Ranger turns into?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I said.
Because you don't see her face.
It was so funny. I was really funny in that moment, and I don't remember what I said.
That's too bad.
It is too bad. I should have written it down.
No.
Also, why didn't they write down the directions that C-3PO said? Would you have remembered all of that stuff?
No.
It was like he said all this shit about where the Wayfinder is, or not the Wayfinder. Wayfinder. He's like, this is where it is. And then they're like, okay, cool. We got to fucking go.
Give us the
and they just remembered that? Because they needed.
So this is later. So they get.
Printer paper.
They get.
Kelly just said maybe they needed printer paper.
They were out.
They didn't have it.
No, the paper only exists in Star Wars in the Sacred Jedi text. Guys.
All right.
We have to remember that. So they get Babu Frick to get into 3PO's head and interpret all of this stuff, and he says it. Also, I want to back up a step and just acknowledge the fact that they have taken the relationship with droids a little too far.
Oh yeah, that's gotten intense. I didn't know about this. Did you guys know that in an earlier one?
I didn't watch Solo because I'm a terrible person. Because I don't know if I could have stood seeing Woody Harrelson in a Star Wars movie. At any case,
he was in Hunger Games. It worked out fine.
So they're turning droids into people on an emotional level. I guess Lando was in love with a droid during the Solo movie, I guess. And they're putting a little bit too much emotional attachment to these functional. C-3PO is an interpreter. That's what he does.
Do you have an emotional attachment to your phone?
My notes are on my phone, but I can't not.
I'm just saying, maybe, again, devil's advocate. That's my job. That's my job.
My notes are on.
Stafford said we didn't miss anything in not watching Solo.
Okay, good. Thank you. I didn't think I did because the box office, I think, kind of spoke for itself.
Right.
And the fact that Alden Ehrenreich has not made anything else since.
At any rate.
Anyways, they're making droids into people, which I'm not okay with because they are functional. They serve a purpose.
I think it's fine.
I think it's okay for them to be along with the ride, but C-3PO has always been kind of this bumbling idiot.
Yeah, but that has emotion to it. There's a personality to it. Same thing with R2-D2. There's a personality to it.
There's a personality to it, but it gets to the point where C-3PO is like, I'm taking one last look at all my friends. And I'm like, who cares? You're a droid. We need that information.
Nostalgia.
Or I'll just unplug you.
Nostalgia.
When Han Solo was like, can someone turn him off, please? I'm just like, thank you.
He's just
he's annoying.
He's the literal Tin Man. That's all.
Yeah, I'm glad that they gave Anthony Daniels like something to do in this movie, which was nice. He's the only actor who's been in every Star Wars movie, so
that's
he has
saying
that
something.
Yeah, so
that's
kudos.
like getting a BAFTA,
an Oscar, a Tony, and a Grammy,
right.
and an Emmy, and a daytime Emmy.
But Star Wars version.
But Star Wars.
He just needs to be in Star Trek, and then he's God.
So props to Anthony Daniels. Congratulations.
Yes.
So long story short, they get him to interpret all of this stuff. Kylo Ren shows up again because he finds Rey, and they share space and time again.
And then they fight, which I was like, we're fighting? I don't know how we're fighting. That was the part where I was like, oh, you lost me a little bit.
Because
Like,
Rey flies to his ship because she knows that Chewie is on there.
Yeah.
And this is after the fact. So they get 3PO to interpret it. They all fly to the Star Destroyer.
Ship. Right.
They break in and get Chewie out.
There's so much. There's
a lot of different plots in this movie.
There's so much. They're
like, we can't decide on one, so we're just going to use all six.
It's like I had a hard time keeping track during Infinity War, and this was even worse.
We'll get to Infinity War, too.
No. We're going to jump into Infinity War from Star Wars. Wait, I wrote down.
Go ahead.
Oh, I did love, though, when she's like, it's okay that we're here. Are we at that point yet?
Yeah, so they're on the Star Destroyer looking for Chewie. She's like, it's okay that we're here. The little mind thing.
I love the lines that those guys had, though. There was like, it's okay that you're here. Wow, we're really glad you're here, guys. I was like, that was solid. I love that.
And here we have some really creative shots of like them running through the corridors and blasting stormtroopers.
Solid.
It's like this really great.
I'm great with
it's
that.
not a dolly shot. I think it's handheld or on a steady cam.
Sure.
Where they're moving backwards.
Loved it.
On a technical level, there's some really cool shots in here.
Loved it.
And so Rey ends up sharing space and time with Kylo Ren.
Oh, right.
They smash Darth Vader's helmet on accident. No, they don't smash the helmet. They destroy the pillar that the helmet is on.
Right.
And then the helmet ends up
Lands
on the Poland planet. And then Kylo Ren's like, they're on my ship. And then he just leaves Darth Vader's helmet on the ground.
What? I don't know. It would be really fun.
It's what he prays to. It's like
I know.
It's like his little.
I'm gonna wait because I know what the word is, and I'm gonna wait for you to think of it.
His little pet. His little. What are they called?
I'm not gonna tell you.
I don't remember what they are.
Yes, you are. You can.
It's
remember
something he lays his hands on and he prays to. So you'd think he would have picked up his grandfather's helmet and like brought it back with him. But he didn't.
He didn't.
I don't think he did.
And then I was gonna say, I really like, even though I hated how it ended, I love the smarmy guy that was the spy.
Oh, God.
Where he's like, I'm the spy.
I just need Kylo Ren to lose.
just need Kylo Ren to
because I'm
lose.
British, you know. I curse you all in the name of Rex Harrison.
I'm not only British, I'm a redhead, which makes me even more smarmy.
We're extinct, you know.
We are going extinct, and this is the only way I'll survive is if Kylo Ren
I have no purpose being a spy. I just need Kylo Ren to lose, sir. That's it. That is it. So General Hux is revealed to be the spy.
Liked him.
But there's no reason for him to be a spy. They just blew him away.
They killed him.
Other than wanting Kylo Ren to lose, that's why I'm a spy. Fuck you, movie. That's where
tell
we're
us
at.
why. Tell us why.
Tell us why, but you're not gonna.
Why.
So Kylo Ren gets on the ship, and they're about to leave, and he's like, Rey, I know who you really are after 3 movies of this. And he says, because
you're a Palpatine.
You're a Palpatine girl.
Okay, I'm just going to take a moment, and I'm going to just tell you what your spirit animal is. Okay?
Okay.
You're a Palpatine.
I'm a what?
You're a Palpatine.
I can't be a Palpatine.
You're a Palpatine.
This is the rise of Skywalker. How am I a Palpatine?
It's really simple. Like,
Okay.
if you just look at your charts and you take a look at where your rising sun is and your falling sun is, and if you find that and you also combine it, like, with where you are in life, like, in terms of Saturn, you're definitely a Palpatine. Like, I could tell within the first 3 minutes of talking to you.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Well, shit. And so that's like a big moment, a big reveal. Like, you're a Palpatine because
I was fine with that.
We have to keep it in bloodlines.
I'm fine with Palpatine, actually.
It made me think, I'm like, okay, so Palpatine had to have had sex with someone while he was a senator, I'm
Yes.
assuming. And fanboys, help me out here. Palpatine had sex with a senator, maybe not a senator, sex with someone while he was a senator. And his son was like, whoa, my dad is bad news. I need to get out of here. Something that Don Jr. should have done a long time ago. So he dreamed Don Jr.'s his way out of the Palpatine life.
Yes.
Finds a woman.
Right.
Has Rey with his wife.
Yeah.
And is hunted down by Darth Uchi later.
Right. Yes.
Yes. So we're at the point where Kylo Ren's grandfather.
Oh, this is about to end.
Oh, okay. Kylo Ren's. Oh, that's about to end.
We're just gonna say bye.
We're gonna say bye, guys.
It's on YouTube.
Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. Bye. Thanks for watching. Anyway, we're back. So Kylo is the grandson of Darth Vader, and now Rey is the granddaughter of Palpatine, which is where we are right now. So cool. Now they're on like an even keel, I guess.
Kelly says sex is rampant in the Senate. Like you go in, you're like, well,
the Star Wars.
It's like
Senate.
the
Yes.
Olympics.
Yes,
They're just throwing condoms at you.
So the
fighting was great. Are we at fighting yet?
Not yet. So
now
they have the dagger.
Now
they have to go to the moon of Endor where the Death Star wreckage.
Right, when she goes into the waves, by the way, I wrote down, I was like, I've seen Moana. She needs a bigger ship to get through those waves.
She needs the rocks.
She needs a much bigger ship in order to get. She does. She needs Maui and a fucking ridiculous chicken in order to get to that ship. She did not.
I haven't seen Moana yet.
We need to see it.
So they get to the moon of Endor,
right?
And I just want to make sure I'm caught up with my notes.
No, that's right.
Okay, we
have the thing.
We sort of brushed over Hux as the spy. They blew him away.
Right.
So now that they have the notes, they have to go to the moon of Endor where the Death Star wreckage is.
Yeah.
They end up crashing the Falcon on a very random
hill. I love that they're like, it's fine.
It's fine. They end up walking about 50 yards. They see the Death Star wreckage in the distance in this vast ocean. And she pulls out her little MacGuffin dagger.
I'm going to let Ben talk for a second because he got really mad at this.
I shit you not. You know this happens because you've seen it. In the grooves of the dagger, match up with the lining of the wreckage at a very specific spot. Not only that, you have to pull out the little extension, and then you have to put the knife where the wreckage is, and then that points to where the second Horcrux is, or the third MacGuffin, to take you to planet Monster Mash.
This, you know what? I'm going to bet you anything that this guy actually got this knife as a bad gift from his mother-in-law on Christmas from Sharper Image, and he didn't know what to do with it.
It's the knife that Darth Uchi used to kill Rey's parents. Darth Uchi killed not only Rey's parents, but now he's killed Palpatine's son, because Palpatine wanted Uchi to bring Rey to him,
right?
So that he could, inhabit her body?
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Anyways, so she uses the magic carved out MacGuffin dagger to find where the Horcrux is in the Death Star wreckage. She takes her little boat out and goes over the waves. She survives. She gets into the Death Star.
Yes.
She gets up into the throne room, which doesn't match logistically either. If you go back and watch Return of the Jedi,
too, how did the doors open?
The geometry of the room doesn't match up
how did it open
with
up?
Return of the Jedi. But that's neither
and then
here nor
she
there.
meets her evil twin.
Right. These doors open, and her evil Bilbo Baggin-fanged twin with a double-bladed lightsabers in there.
Which
was that a hallucination?
Yes.
Or did that actually happen?
No, I think it was a vision.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Because I think it was a vision. It was the same thing of what we saw with Luke seeing the evil version of himself.
Sure, when he fought Vader.
Yes.
When he was training on
in Return of the Jedi, right?
No, in Empire Strikes
Back. Oh, Empire Strikes Back. My bad. Yes,
that's fine.
So that one. I think it was to replicate that.
Sure.
I also too wanted to talk because a little bit later on, once we have Kylo Ren talking with Harrison Ford. I'm just connecting the dots. I'm connecting the dots. So what I'm saying here for that one is that that's where, to me at least, that was a flip. That was on the alternate side because we had Rey seeing the evil version of herself. And then later on, we have Ben Solo seeing a good part of himself, which is what came from his family, from his father.
Sure.
Again, my whole thing on this is to play devil's advocate. And that's where I'm like, I can connect the dots there.
Okay.
I can find that.
That is a vision. She has Bilbo Baggins' evil teeth for some reason. She finds
we didn't need that.
The Horcrux, and she's blasted out of the room, and Kylo's there being like, oh, I always knew who you were, and we have to fight now. And he picks up the Horcrux. He's like, if you want it, you got to come through me. And she's like,
kills
F you. And so there's a big lightsaber fight.
He breaks it.
Yeah, he smashes it, I think, first. And then that pisses her off.
Right.
And then she starts swinging wild. And then they're all of a sudden fighting on the wreckage outside.
And he's about to kill her.
And this is where I'm going to give this movie a plus. The fighting's really good.
It's very well done.
Well choreographed. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot happening between the characters.
Why they're fighting.
The fight.
You can feel the emotion in every stroke. That was done very well.
I was watching it thinking like, oh, Rey's giving more and more into her anger.
Yes.
Is she going to cross over to the dark side of the Force?
Right.
Which is something that would have been cool, but that doesn't happen.
I wouldn't want her to just cross over to the dark side of the Force. I don't think that would have been good.
So it would have been. It would have been a dramatic moment, which they would have unwritten 2 minutes later.
At any rate.
Anyways, so she stabs Ben because Leia knows that the end is coming,
and she somehow telepathically
she
says,
can sense it.
Ben?
She can sense it because it's her son, and I'm totally fine with that.
Oh, I had issues with that.
At a very key moment, she distracts him, essentially.
And then Rey
stabs him in the gut, fights over. Kylo's like, oh shit, I'm dead. And then she's like, hang on, okay, you're good.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Ooh,
do you feel better?
I feel so much better.
I feel better too.
Oh, refreshed.
Yeah.
I think you got rid of the coronavirus from me.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool. My hand's all tingly now, though.
Ooh, yeah?
Yeah.
Ooh. My boobs are all tingly.
I gave you some of my energy, so you think I'd be really tired. But
yeah, you're not.
I'm actually going to go steal your shit.
Later on, though, when you save my life, it's going to kill you.
Right.
But now it's not going to.
That's after I kiss you?
Right.
For no reason?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Anyways, so she takes off in his ship, and she has the Wayfinder again, and she's plugged it into her.
No, not yet. She goes to Luke's planet.
Oh, that's right.
To throw a hissy fit.
Yes, that's right.
And get pissed off and like burn a ship.
She's about to burn Anakin's lightsaber.
Yes.
She throws it into the wreckage
of the ship.
Luke catches it, and he's like, and what is just the biggest middle finger to Rian Johnson. He holds up the lightsaber and is like, a Jedi's weapon deserves more respect than that. And he did everything except look at the camera and be like, because remember in the last movie, you made me throw it over my shoulder?
At any rate. But then it comes full circle. Then he's like commenting on it.
Because it's like poetry, because it needs to rhyme.
It's Disney.
And Rey was like, last time I was here, you tried to stop me from doing this. And I almost had to leave the room because they make Luke Skywalker say the following lines. I was wrong because I was afraid.
I don't
If there's one character who I know to be afraid, it's Luke Skywalker? Question mark?
I think it was fine.
The guy who brought his father back from the dark side of the Force?
I think it was
How
fine.
is he afraid of anything?
I think it was fine.
Why was it fine?
Because think about how he had trained Kylo Ren. He
yes, his
trained
nephew.
Ben.
Yeah.
Right. He had trained him, and then there was so much darkness in him, and he's like, I can't control this kid, and he tries to kill him. Like, I think that what he saw is that things were going in a really horrible direction, and instead of being like, I'm going to be a part of this, I could accidentally bring the undoing of the Jedi. He's like, I was afraid. I got to get the fuck out of here.
But that completely negates his journey in the last movie, where he spends all three movies trying to, well, not all three, the last two. He tries to spend the last two movies bringing his father back to the light side of the Force. Why does he not think he can bring his nephew back?
Because people are complicated.
Because people are complicated?
People are complicated.
Because
and
movie needs to happen?
Movie needs to happen.
Okay. So he says, I'm afraid, or I was afraid. That's why I stayed here and sent you off and astral projected myself onto a battlefield so I wouldn't actually have to fight.
That I didn't.
But it sure taught Ben a lesson. And I overexerted myself and I vanished into thin air and became one with the Force.
And then he's like, so you got to go back.
You got to go back.
Bitch, you got to go back.
Here's Leia's lightsaber, because the reason Leia quit her training.
And here's a ship.
is because Leia sensed the death of her son at the end of her training, which is fine. I think that was cool, where she's like, no, I'm not going to finish my training because I sense the death of my son. Even though
I never understood what that
it would have
was.
been cool if she finished, because even though I sense the death of my son, I'm going to do this anyway because it's the will of the Force or
I don't know.
whatever.
I was so confused. By all of that.
Anyways, so they're trying to unwrite The Last Jedi, essentially. They're trying to give Luke some sort of dignity in this final movie.
So
anyways, so she takes the ship, hot wires the MacGuffin, goes to Exegol, and meets Emperor Palpatine.
Meanwhile,
before that though, the rebellion.
Dad shows up for Kylo, like reversible twin thing.
So
that's
Kylo,
it's Lando again. It was fear that kept me here. Pulled ship out of the water for Rey. When did they staff the Star Destroyers?
I just need to reference Han Solo in this movie.
Okay.
What is that scene? I believe that they paid Harrison Ford $10 million for a day's work. I believe that.
I think.
Could they not brush his hair? Did he just roll out of bed and he's like, "I'm gonna do this fucking movie"?
I don't think he even brushed his teeth for that. He had yesterday's underwear on.
Is this a hallucination? Is this?
This is the same thing as Rey seeing her evil
No,
twin.
it's not. I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Why not?
Because that is a test of the Force. Han Solo did not become one with the Force when he died because he is not a Jedi. He did not become one with the Force. So how is he seeing Han Solo? Is this in his mind?
If I was editing sound effects into this, I would add in, that's not how the Force works.
The sacred Jedi texts? Is this something that the Sith know how to do?
I think the reason behind the writing is because they wanted to push Kylo over the edge to the light side. I think that was the reasoning for it. I'm not justifying it. This is called radical acceptance. This is something I've learned in therapy, where you don't necessarily condone or like what's happening, but you have to accept it because it will actually help you be less stressed out.
We're talking about 40 years of legacy here. And
we're not
again, these things are important, guys. They're important. You'd think that Kylo or Ben would have had his moment when he's run through with his own lightsaber and left there, been like, wow, I need to shift my priorities.
But he said that he didn't have the courage to do it, and so he needed that little push.
Push from what?
That little
his dad's ghost? Or did he hallucinate this whole thing? And then he chucks his lightsaber into the ocean. Which is fine. So now he's good because he hallucinated a moment with his father. Because movie needs to happen. Anyway, we're moving on.
That's it.
So the First Order is coming for the Resistance. Yes. They're screwed essentially because the First Order is now the final order.
Right.
And Emperor Palpatine has staffed and manned 1,000 Star Destroyers.
Yes.
In the last 30 years, he's been doing nothing but holding Sith level interviews to staff these Star Destroyers with thousands of people.
I want to know what that interview process was like.
What was the HR of the Sith?
Like when you were going to the second interview?
No, final interview.
The final interview?
Where you had to meet the
second one is the
Yeah?
Yeah, usually second interview is like the final interview. So you would have a questionnaire. All right.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
The final round of interviews.
Thank you. I'm really excited to
done well.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for taking the time to...
What is your worst quality?
Well, sometimes I can get a little bit overwhelmed when I feel like I have a lot on my plate. But delegation is something that I'm becoming better at. Yes. So
strong with delegation, are you?
That's Yoda. Where did you go? You're mixing things up.
What is your best quality?
I try really hard, and I really work well with a team.
Would you wear a black robe and speak in tongues?
Is that a requirement for the uniform?
Yes.
Do
it.
Yeah.
What is your perfect Sunday?
Well, I usually I like to go spend time with my Rappler, the creature that I ride that should be a horse but isn't a horse because we didn't get an actual name for what those horses were.
We will provide lodging for your horse.
Thank you.
We are done here.
Okay.
See yourself out.
Okay. Thank you so much for your consideration. I really appreciate your time.
That's the Sith HR sketch.
That's so great. I want it.
So
okay.
So the Emperor has a vast fleet of Star Destroyers,
right.
and every single one, because the Empire has a hard-on for planet-destroying guns,
yes,
every single ship has a phallic, long rifle that can obliterate entire planets.
If I want to do a real deep in this, I would say this is a metaphor for the patriarchy trying to destroy Mother Earth.
Sure.
Dig right in, folks.
But does every Star Destroyer need to have one? Because...
What if another? No, yeah.
Because bigger, because more, because why? Why does
Always.
Because okay, so the Resistance is like, wow, we're gonna go out and meet these guys anyway. We're gonna fight to the last man, and they're like, yeah, let's do it for Leia. This one's for Narnia.
This one's for
everyone
Narnia.
mans their ships, and people kiss and hug goodbye. And,
okay.
So the final battle is about to begin, a la Return of the Jedi. Rey is now on Hexagon,
yep.
ExxonMobil.
ExxonMobil.
And she's there meeting the Emperor, and he's like, how long have I pickled here? Now, if you strike me down, I will enter you.
So this was something that
like
we wanted. This is something we argued about.
Help us, maybe? Is the Emperor saying if Rey cuts him down, he's going to inhabit her?
No. I'm
pretty sure that's what he said.
I wrote down, wait. Okay, if you kill me, you'll come over.
My axe.
If you kill me, you'll come over to the dark side, and I'll live on in you as your hatred continues.
Okay.
That's what it means.
Because you know why? Because no one's ever really gone. Death has no consequence here, guys.
That's Marvel.
Sorry, we killed Chewie, but we're gonna bring him back. So
that's what that is. That's what that is.
Okay, so it's not so much that he's going to inhabit her.
No, it's just more that you are choosing the dark side. So what I stand for, which is evil,
okay,
that will continue. I will live on in you as your grandfather, as hatred, as the dark side. I will live on in you.
So no matter what, you're screwed.
Right.
Essentially.
Unless, and this was the caveat, is that, and this, again, if you haven't seen the movie, what are you doing watching this? Although we want you to watch it. When she does end up killing him, she does so with all of her force, yes, which then kills her.
Okay, so it's a self-sacrifice. In the commentary, people were saying all of the Sith will inhabit her and she will become one of them. But she says, I'm not here to kill you as a Sith, I'm here to kill you as a Jedi.
And he says, you're not a Jedi.
Like, you're not a Jedi, you're my granddaughter,
right,
so no matter what you do, you're screwed.
I don't know. See, this is the part where I was like,
Explain America.
I would just need a little bit more.
A little bit more. Some clarification,
and I would have been fine with it.
Would be nice.
Because it was like, it seemed like there was no way she could win.
Sure.
If she kills him, then it's over.
It's an impossible situation.
If she kills him, then she becomes Sith. If she doesn't kill him, then the planet, planets, everybody dies.
And all of her friends die.
So there's no win.
Her friends are up in space fighting. They're trying to destroy this specific antenna that controls a collective
which
fleet
is
of Star
on the ground.
Destroyers.
No, it's over there.
No,
it's actually
right.
It's over there.
It's over here. But now we're gonna.
But I know that that's the one it is. I know that's the one.
How do you know?
I just know.
These things are important, guys.
See, this is where, for me too, I was like, okay. Is this where we can become force sensitive?
We're led to believe that
is this
Finn
like
is
where you
to
don't have celiac disease, but you're gluten sensitive?
Right. You can have almond milk, but
you can have almond 2%? Milk, but not 2%.
Because we're not there
That's
yet.
us.
That's very much.
That's us.
We're guessing.
But you can. It's like I don't have gluten unless you have a cupcake that I want, and then I'll deal with being farty for an hour and a half.
So we're led to believe that Finn is sensitive to the Force.
Plus, horses are the best way to destroy things.
Because horses.
How did the horses get there?
It was a transport. They landed the transport on the ship, and then the horses ran out. Even though there's a ton of other Resistance fighters who land on the planet too who don't have horses.
I want to know the story of the guy that has to clean out the horse
stalls. He was like just shoveling horse shit when he's
transport.
back in there. He's like dodging all these blaster rounds.
His name is Narbo or something.
Narbo, who's scooping Space Force.
The Narbo, the shit.
So the Resistance is up fighting their fights, and then Ben Solo shows up because he steals a TIE fighter and he flies to Exegol, and he makes his way down, down into the pit of despair. But he has to fight the Knights of Ren.
So this is where they lost me, because it was
they lost you?
I was back and forth.
I was lost in minute 10.
I was touch and go. And then it happened here when it was like, okay, she can't kill him. Together. Oh, apparently he can suck the life force out of them like Winifred and Hocus Pocus and all of a sudden become a person again. Okay, they're both dead because he sucked the... No, they're not both dead. They're alive. And Ben's going to get up. Oh, okay, we're going to knock him out. He's going to be dead. All right, but Rey's dead. Oh, no, she's not dead. She's looking up and she's seeing all of her friends getting killed. And she says, be with me. Be with me. And then she hears all these voices, and they're like, "You're here."
Time out. I'm going to ask a very serious question, and I want to be heard. If Luke Skywalker in this movie not only caught his father's lightsaber in midair and gave it back to her, pulled his X-wing out of the water and gave it to her as a passing of the baton, if the Jedi can physically assist. Where were the 50 Jedi she was talking to? Where was Anakin? Where was Mace Windu? Where was Obi-Wan Kenobi?
They were spirits.
Okay.
They were giving her strength.
Okay, great. But we've had one Force ghost help her out in a very physical sense.
Yeah.
Catch lightsaber, here's my ship. Go.
I don't know if you know about this, but ghosts are finicky.
Where were the Jedi? More importantly, forget all that. Where was Anakin Skywalker? Where was Hayden Christensen? Where was the Jedi who was supposed to bring balance to the Force? Also, he didn't bring balance to the Force because Palpatine survived. He didn't fulfill any prophecy. So everyone who has seen the prequels, if you could explain that to me, and if you are not angry about this for Disney shitting all over these legacies, for saying, oh, Anakin brought balance to the Force by destroying the Emperor at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Stafford made a very good point.
What?
She doesn't know these people and stranger danger.
Excuse me.
Being a safe...
Excuse me. She knows. Because in the first movie, she knows who Luke Skywalker is.
All right. Here we go. All right. Yes. We don't know why. We don't know where they're at. They should have been there. They weren't. But
Disney,
they gave strength.
You shit all over this.
So that it's yep.
And I'll never forgive you for it.
At any rate,
she starts praying to the collective Jedi.
Lead me, Lord, by the light of truth. Yeah. And then she comes back, and then she lights.
She
flames. On the side of my face.
This is where Palpatine goes 3 for 3, guys.
Breath.
This is the third time.
Heaving breath.
The third time that Palpatine has electrocuted himself in all of these 9 movies.
Stop doing that.
He did it in Return of the Jedi. He did it in Revenge of the Sith. He does it in The Rise of Skywalker. So he's like, oh, I'm going to the Hierarchy.
It's like Edna.
I'm going to kill you now. And he's like starts throwing the lightning, and she's like blocking it with the lightsaber. And
it's like Edna from The Incredibles. No capes.
No capes.
Stop using the electrical.
No lightning. No lightning for you.
Yes. But
it's my favorite. It's my favorite.
It doesn't matter.
Power. And so he starts throwing it.
Don't do it.
And she's blocking it with a lightsaber, and he's like, I am all the Sith. And she gets Leia's lightsaber.
Oh, really quickly.
And now that she has 2,
really quickly,
she can blast it back in his face.
This is running back.
Yes.
Actually, I don't want to run back. Let's keep going.
Okay.
All right.
So now that she has 2, and she says,
him in the face.
She says, I am Iron Man. Sorry, I am all the Jedi. Excuse me, because they use the same line.
I don't.
From
She
Infinity War.
pushes him out. She disintegrates him.
She disintegrates him.
And then she dies because all that
Because
force
she
killed
used.
her.
Why did she not become one with the Force right then and there?
It's the same thing that happened to Luke.
No, Luke evaporated seconds after.
Oh. Yes. Okay, no, I'm right there
Why
with you.
was she
Yes.
still physically
She was still
there?
physically there. Her
Anyway,
body was there.
Ben Solo survives because apparently, just like in Return of the Jedi, when you're thrown off a cliff,
I feel like
you're not dead.
That's his thing, though. The crash happened and he was
He's
fine.
like, oh,
He just died. It's his nose. It's his nose. It's his superpower.
A serious accident.
Yeah. He's fine. He's just tall and has a good nose.
So
with
he
hair.
picks up Rey. He
And
uses
then-
the same Jesus of Nazareth healing power
Which
on
that's
her.
true. I'm like,
How did he learn that? Was it the sacred Jedi texts?
Yes.
Which he read?
No.
Apparently.
It's just force.
Okay.
Just force-ish.
Because grab back.
Force.
Because it's
And
like
so
candy.
then he brings her back, and she goes like,
Oh, why did we kiss? Why did we do that? And he dies. And does he become one with the Force?
Then he disappears.
Does he disappear?
He disappears.
Did he?
Yeah, babe.
I'm glad for that.
No, like she kisses him, and he like smiles, and then he dies.
Right, but
'Cause
did he
that's-
disappear?
He disappears.
I don't think he did.
He
Stafford, did he
1000%.
disappear?
Everybody will back me up on this. He disappeared because at the exact
It's
same
his thigh.
it's the exact same time that he
Invulnerability
disappears.
is kind of my thing.
The exact same time that he disappears, Leia's body, which has just been hanging out,
Oh, evaporates too.
evaporates at the exact
Okay,
same time.
I'll take
so
that.
why
I'll take
did
that.
her body hang out until Ben's body
Because
disappeared?
her journey wasn't finished, I guess.
So her body just has
until
to
mother
hang
and
out?
son had to evaporate
Because I
together.
thought that when a Jedi dies, they just evaporate.
Yeah, and
That's what I
Leia, for
thought
all
was
intents and
supposed to happen.
purposes, being Anakin Skywalker's
So now, like,
daughter, is one with the
Twice
Force.
it's been like, just kidding. They're going to stay there. Just kidding. Now they're
These
gonna
things are
disappear later.
important, guys.
So that was the inconsistency. I was like, what? I'm also curious why they kiss.
I cried, Stafford.
Why?
I cried.
I'm curious why.
Why did
why
they
did they
kiss, though?
kiss?
Why did we need to kiss?
Why did they kiss?
This is weird.
I don't
Why is a
understand.
Palpatine kissing
I mean,
a Skywalker?
Tell me, like, was it just like that? That was just. It felt like
I
that was
wanna
an
know
acting
why.
exercise, and they were like, "Oh, well, let's just keep it. That's interesting."
Yeah, maybe they did it like on that take, and they were like, "Oh,
They got caught up in
you're
the
right.
moment.
Maybe they just."
I
Okay.
literally think that's what it is.
You think that's what
I
happened?
100%.
I really hope it
think
wasn't
that's
written
what
in, but this is the guy who wrote Batman v Superman, so I'm just gonna say it's shitty writing again.
Yes.
So
Okay.
now that we've exchanged healing powers 3 times between us, Ben Solo is dead. Rest in peace. The
Because
aerial
love
fight.
story.
Aerial fight. Billy D. Williams shows up with every fucking ship in the universe and saves the day.
Mhm.
Emperor Palpatine tries to like dubstep lightning them to death,
Right.
but that's before or after.
That's before
Rey
Rey
gets 2
comes to.
lightsabers.
Yes, that
and is
is.
like, I
Right.
am Iron Man. I'm gonna kill
So
you.
okay, so now
Palpatine's dead.
everything's better. and
Every Star Destroyer is blowing up.
So now we're all going back to the planet. Everybody's happy.
Where does Rey go?
Rey goes back to the planet.
She goes to Tatooine.
She eventually goes to
After,
Tatooine,
yes,
but
but-
let's not forget she goes back to the main planet, and then no one ever tells her. Finn
Leia's
never
dead.
says what happened.
Oh yeah, Finn never explains. Here's what I always wanted to tell you. Number 1, number 2. I don't think does Rey ever get the sense that Leia's died?
Yes,
She does. Okay, I don't remember.
yeah,
I don't
it's
remember.
right before.
I checked out.
Yeah. She
Okay.
stabs. She goes stabby stab, and then she realizes
And
what happened.
Maz Kanata, Lupita Nyong'o's character, gives Chewie a medal finally.
Oh yeah,
And she's like, Chewie, this is for you.
Right.
And Chewie's like, thanks. You could have given this to me 42 years ago, you
right.
bitch. Why give Chewie a medal now?
Oh, Kelly
Why?
says that Lando showed up for sandwiches and sunsets, baby. That's a nice callback,
when
Kelly.
here's
Well
another
done.
here's another Avengers moment when the fleet is like all but destroyed and Poe's like, I'm sorry, my friends, I led you out here to die. And Lando says, on your left, Poe, it didn't count on us showing up. Look at all these ships I brought here. On your left, Cap.
I don't think it was an on your left cap.
They might as well have said it.
All right.
It was an African-American actor telling the white guy who's crying, on your left. It was the same exact thing in Endgame.
Oh.
Where Cap's about to like, all right, I'm going to do this. I can do
don't
this all day. They stole so
All right.
many parts from the Avengers in this.
So
Anyway,
she goes back to Tatooine.
she goes to Tatooine. She checks out Luke's old digs. She takes the lightsabers and force pushes them into the ground because you can do that with your mind.
And then a neighbor's like, who are you?
Who are you? This is my camel, and there's been no one for so long. And she's like, I'm Rey. And she's like, Rey who? And she turns and she sees Luke and Leia's ghosts.
Right.
Why Leia is dressed like the Princess of Alderaan, I don't know.
And
Can
then
someone explain that to me?
she says, Rey Skywalker, which I was like, girl, you're a Palpatine.
You're a Palpatine.
Like, own up that you're a Palpatine.
You know how this should have ended, guys? Rey should have died, and Ben Solo should have lived.
That is our hot take. And that has been our hot take since we saw the
Rey
movie.
should have died. Ben Solo should have taken the mantle, choosing light over dark. Same thing that Rey did. Rey technically chose the light side over the dark. She chose to reject her heritage and take the name of Skywalker. But Ben
here's
Solo was Princess Leia's son
the thing.
already.
No one would have bought her dying. That would not have gone over well with anybody. I don't
Or
think.
Chewie's, apparently.
It would not have gone well at all. So
Because
here's
death
the
means
thing.
nothing.
If we're rewinding, re-going back, blah, 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 I think that them facing Palpatine together,
Mhm.
I don't think there is any reason for Ben to have died.
No.
There was no reason
No.
for that. Absolutely no reason for that. So I think that either Ben should have lived and Rey should have died, but I don't think that would have worked out very well.
Yeah.
I also think that I also was kind of upset at the fact that we've just completely negated a dark side in any and every sense of
You've
the word.
wiped out the Sith.
It's something where it's like, that's something we always have to deal with. That
Yeah.
is always something that we have a choice. We're saying now that everything is sunshine and lollipops and
Yeah.
everything's fine.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the case.
Not at all.
So there was a part of me that was like, I feel like we've tied this up in almost too much of a bow because there's other loose ends.
I'm sure they had like 8 different endings.
Right,
And they
but
had
I
to
just-
choose one.
I don't know. I didn't like the ending.
Me neither.
I didn't like her saying that she was Skywalker because she's not a Skywalker. It was Rise of Skywalker. She's not a
There
Skywalker.
should have been a Skywalker
She's
to end the
Palpatine.
movie.
There should have been a Skywalker to end
This
the
is
movie.
Anakin's grandson, technically. Like this would have made everything come full circle, at least in that regard.
I mean, if we wanted to go real hot take, we found out that they're actually twins and they kiss just like Leia
holy
and
shit!
Luke did. Oops.
Oops!
I did it again.
I played with your heart.
Oh, man.
That would have been that. Anything would have been infinitely better than what we were given. But I'm constantly asking myself, would I have been satisfied with any ending? Because 89% of this
so.
movie was bullshit. Like
That's the thing is that once we got off of the planet, the Waves planet, once we got off of planet Moana,
yeah,
and from there on, I had such a hard time.
There were good moments in this movie. I will say the actors played these roles with a lot of conviction.
Yeah.
It was, again, great to hear and see Ian McDiarmid. I don't mind so much that they brought the Emperor back. I have a problem with the Emperor literally being not only disintegrated when he was thrown down the shaft, but then the Death Star explodes after he's incinerated. So part of me is like, you should be literal stardust. And I don't know how you're hooked up to this Dr. Claw-looking mad scientist machine. But here we are. Also, all of the Sith followers, there were thousands of people there.
Where did they come
and they're
from?
just wiped out. Are those actual people
I don't
speaking
know.
in tongues?
I don't know. That was super
Are
unclear.
these Sith sympathizers from the old Senate? Like, these things are important, guys. These things are important.
At the end of the day, Ben, we have gone through the entire movie.
Jesus.
We have come full circle ourselves. Our original movie that we did, which was The Last Jedi, clocked in at 1 hour and 30. We are at 1 hour and 30 now.
Wow.
For Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you recommend this movie to?
People who don't like to think for themselves.
I would recommend this to people who have children and they love Star Wars.
If your children love Star Wars, not if you love Star Wars.
If
Because if
you're-
you love Star Wars,
If you love
you're going to hate
Star
this movie.
Wars, you will hate this movie, but you love your children, so you'll find common ground.
I wouldn't allow this in my house.
You did
I
last
did,
night.
but here we are.
You
I've
did last
compromised
night.
clearly because that's what love is. I can't. I don't know who I'd recommend this movie to because I walked out of the theater being so disappointed, and I went and saw this movie like a battered housewife returning to her husband. Like, let's get this over with. Like, you've totally like. You remember how much we enjoyed The Force Awakens?
Oh yeah. Oh, we had a great time.
Yeah.
We had
And like,
a great
wow,
time.
okay, it's great to see everybody back.
Yeah.
You know,
It
I
felt
can't
like
wait
some
to
of the
see where they go
original
from
movies.
here.
It was fun. It was great.
Then I'm not saying it was a perfect movie, but it was enjoyable. And then we're given The Last Jedi, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Right.
They've gone off of the deep end here.
Right.
Please listen to that podcast if you want to hear my thoughts. And then we get this because we have to wrap things up.
Yeah.
Because Carrie Fisher, bless her, is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison Ford is all but done, but apparently they paid him enough to show back up in this movie
Yep.
for no good reason. Mark Hamill also looks like he just rolled out of bed too. Like, at this point, you've disgraced these characters so much. You have undone not only Luke's journey, but Anakin Skywalker's journey. To do what? For what purpose? For what goal?
But Ben,
Did
how
you-
do you really feel about it?
I'm legitimately upset with this movie.
I know you are.
So I can't
know.
say I would recommend it to anybody.
I would.
It had really great moments. The technical prowess is some of the
literally-
best you will ever see.
I would recommend it to anybody that likes Star Wars and can leave leeway for a new generation to enjoy the new kind of Star Wars. One that does have plot holes.
At what
One
cost?
that does have issues. One that does allow an awful lot of suspension of disbelief. That's what I would recommend it to. I would say you and me, classic fanboy fangirls of the OG, this is not good for us. If
No.
you are an 80s baby and you do not have kids and you are a purist, do not watch this movie. You will get upset.
Look
Just
at
like
the
we've
Metacritic
gotten
score,
upset.
look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, and tell me that I'm wrong. Like, it's just...
Do we have any trivia?
I'm not even going to do trivia for this movie.
Come
because we're not
on.
half in.
Well, just one quick one.
One
It's
quick
one of
one?
the favorites.
Okay.
Like, people love the trivia.
You love the trivia. Okay.
People love
Let me,
trivia,
let me pull
especially
some
Evan.
trivia.
Evan said that he
Oh,
loves
that's
the
right.
trivia.
All right. Well, Evan, you were so gracious, and we will.
Yeah, you guys. By the way, as we're wrapping up, please remember if you wish to donate, we've gotten some money. If you wish to donate to the Global Giving Fund, any amount, little, big, any amount, just Venmo at Farmer 646.
Farmer 646.
And we will be donating that to the Global Giving Fund for Coriolanus virus
Coriolanus virus. That's
relief.
right.
Okay.
In November of 2019.
Cue trivia music.
Oh, excuse me.
Let's do the. We should sing it. Cue the trivia music. Boom. Okay.
In November of 2019, it was reported that a script for this film was leaked on the internet. An
That's
actor,
right.
later revealed to be John Boyega by his own admission, had reportedly kept the script under his bed after changing apartments. After somebody was cleaning the place and found the script, the person attempted to sell it on eBay. Director J.J. Abrams confirmed that Disney and Lucasfilm bought the script back. I don't think that actually happened. I think they did that
As a publicity stunt.
as a publicity stunt. Yes.
Ooh.
Billy D. Williams had heavily expressed interest in reprising his role as Lando.
Oh.
Rian Johnson considered it for The Last Jedi, but decided it wouldn't fit with the story. After several weeks of rumors, it was confirmed that Williams would indeed be returning. And he also has a line that I think is in every Star Wars movie, which is,
On your left.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
No, he doesn't say
He
that.
says that in this movie.
He does?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I thought you were saying that
This
he
time it's
says
Lando
that.
who says it.
This
yeah.
time it's Lando. Yes, it's always in it.
I'm
Yeah.
get a bad feeling
Yes.
about this.
Yes.
Let's see. When the trailer and title were first revealed in April of 2019, as well as the revelation that Ian McDiarmid would be back as the Emperor, McDiarmid made a surprise appearance after the trailer was first shown. McDiarmid merely walked on stage, said 3 words, which were, "Roll it again."
What?
Followed by a mic drop. J.J. Abrams was apparently thrilled at the news that Palpatine had leaked beforehand. I'll give them credit for that. To keep that secret a secret.
That's true.
Like, your set must have been, like, on lockdown.
Kelly just said, I got a bad feeling about this sandwich.
I got a bad feeling about this Sun Chips. They didn't have the cheddar.
I had to go with Cool Ranch.
Cool Ranch. What is this? Security was so tight during filming, Mark Hamill said it was like being in the CIA.
Really?
Including his holographic cameo appearance in Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, Palpatine was the most prominent Star Wars villain, having been in 6 movies. So, that's cool.
Oh my gosh. Rapid's doing really cute stuff right now.
It's time for him to go outside.
It is time for him to go outside. All right, you guys. Well, this has been a delight.
Thank you so much for this. I think we
you.
raised like $50 for this cause, so thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you guys for tuning in. You've heard our opinions on this movie. You may share them, you may not share them, but that's what we thought.
And I think too, this is something that is important for all of us to do, whether it be through a live stream, whether it be through FaceTime, whether it be through whatever. This is how we're going to get through this time. Yeah. This is how we're going to get through this.
You can still connect with people in a very
isolating and scary time.
Yeah.
So,
but just know that you're not alone.
You're not alone.
Thankfully, this is something that's global, and this touches everyone, no matter what gender, political affiliation,
creed, race,
who you are. This affects everyone. The fallout from this is going to be felt for many years to come.
So let's be kind. And
so if someone out there needs something, if you see an opportunity to do some good, to share a helping hand, to share some words of comfort, even just to hold a door for somebody while you're holding the door with a paper towel.
Yeah,
Then do it, because we need each other right now. And I sincerely believe that it's moments like these that humanity is at its best, and we have a lot of opportunities to show our capacity for good. So let's choose light.
I was just going to say.
Over dark.
Choose the light side over the dark side.
And let the Wookiee win.
And let the Wookiee win? Oh, because I got it.
Because Star Wars.
Because of Star Wars in the game.
Thank you guys so much. We're going to be in New Hampshire for the next couple of weeks, so we might have some time to do this. We got plenty of time.
We have nothing else going on other than, I've got my regular day job still. But
so,
Well, please be sure to share, like, subscribe. We're back, and take care of one another, and we'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, God.